In a tradition unlike any other, the Minnesota Vikings announced their 53-man roster cuts hours after the deadline. Some teams announced their cuts 2 days ago, but again, it's whatever. And there is a couple of shocking cuts, like Amir Abdullah gone. Oh yeah, Everson Griffin also out the door, but Dakota Dozier, he gone. So we're going to go through the cuts first, talk a little bit about each player, as well as we noted in the PS with the Green practice squad, if it had been reported by some of the local Smokies, if there had been some practice squad interest. Remember, 16 players on the practice squad this season, just like last year. Also, you can elevate 2 on a given game day. So the cuts from earlier, Ito Smith, Zadeh Johnson, as well as Cole Cabral, no go. A little bit surprising. So cutting rookie tight end Zach Davidson, the punter / tight end from Central Mizzou, is a big jump in competition, even though the Vikings have some tight end issues. Of course, Chris Herndon coming over from the Jets is going to help solve some of that depth issue after Erskine Jr. going down with injury, but he has been linked to the practice squad. There you go. 3-tech Hercules Mata'afa, which I always like Herc, except I think it was just a numbers game. Like, the Vikings are just too deep at defensive line. I haven't seen anything about practice squad, but I wouldn't be shocked. He was waived and brought onto the practice squad last season as well. Linebacker Tuff Borland, the UDFA of Ohio State. A lot of heart, a lot of hustle. I just don't think he has the physical prowess to be in the National Football League. Quarterback Ty Smith, the veteran, who I thought had himself a pretty good preseason. Maybe he could be a practice squad candidate. And then the guards. So we got Kyle Hinton. Big Hinton, Kyle Hinton, coming out of Washburn. Now, it's a big-time jump going from the Washburn Ichabods D2 up to the NFL. And maybe give him another year. Maybe he has a third-year rise a la Oli Udo, but he just never really got the time of day in camp this year and never even cracked running with the 2. So, no. But he has been linked to the practice squad. Drew Samia was waived with an injury designation, so if he goes unclaimed, which he probably will, he will revert to injured reserve. Same thing with Luther Kirk, Nate Stanley, as well as Chad Beebe and Beebe accessories. And then, like I mentioned, Dakota Dozier, he gone, but he's been linked to the practice squad. Jake Browning, a little bit surprising, but also he gone. Fullback Jake Vargas. Now, there has been some rumblings that Vargas could have some interest somewhere else, maybe another practice squad, because players don't automatically have to sign with the practice squad of the team they got released by. If they have options, they can go elsewhere if they see more opportunity down the line. So, yeah, I'm not going to hold that against any player. Like, you definitely go for what's going to be best for your career. You got tackle Zach Bailey, which was surprising because teams generally carry 9 or 10 offensive linemen. Vikings carrying 9 this year. I think he thoroughly outperformed Blake Brandel, but he has been linked to the practice squad. Wap Fillier, as well as Myron Mitchell, the 2 UDFAs out of Indiana and UAB respectively, both linked to the practice squad. Shane, the former wide receiver at Mankato State University Community College Bar and Grill. Wait, no, we're combining the nicknames, whatever. But yeah, given the tight end depth, they still let go of Shane. No word yet on practice squad, wouldn't be shocked. Perry Nickerson, who played really well in the slot, the pretty solid vet. I think that he would be really good addition to the practice squad. Zimmer can never have enough cornerbacks. AJ Rose, where as the clock was ticking, past the deadline, an hour past the deadline, we thought, hey, maybe AJ Rose will make the 53, especially given news that Kenny Nwangu is going to go on short-term IR after 53-man roster is done. But also we thought that Kenny Willekes, obviously Johnny Tryhard, I mean, he's going to be linked to the practice squad. I mean, come on. Like, he just played too good in preseason, but like we said, it's a numbers game. And shocking. So I haven't fully processed this yet. Now, initially, when fans saw Everson cut, it was a little bit upsetting. He was just back a week ago. He destroyed the Chiefs in his 4 snaps, but it all seems to be procedural. They're going to potentially bring Everson back as soon as this week once the shenanigans with placing guys on short-term injured reserve goes through, or maybe the Vikings will Brett Jones Everson and bring him back after week 1 so that his season salary is not fully guaranteed. They've done that before, so I don't know. Everson, it's a good bet that he's going to be on the Vikings this season. Also, running back Amir Abdullah, where less shocking for sure, but I thought Abdullah played well in the various special teams, as well as since the Vikings have some potential running back depth issues. Alexander Madison was dinged up, Kenny Nwangu's dinged up. I thought that may keep him around on the roster, but on the practice squad, like we mentioned, he could even get onto the game day 50. Well, I guess it would be 48. Whatever. A long snapper, Andrew DePaulo. So this was initially shocking because like, oh, the Vikings don't have any long snappers anymore. So when DePaulo came on last year, he was actually on the practice squad for the first 2 weeks when he could be called up to the game day roster when Austin Cutting was going through the yips, because Cutting was still on the roster. DePaulo was on the practice squad. They're just doing this again so they could quasi play those games. I don't think DePaulo, a 34-year-old long snapper, is going to get snatched up on waivers. So potentially they're saving a roster spot because the Vikings, we'll get into, are going to put Irv and Nwangu and maybe even Anthony Barr on short term on IR after that window where it would be season-ending passes tomorrow. So it's just procedural. And even if they start them on the practice squad start the season, it's no big deal. Then also you got safety Miles Dorn. I wouldn't be shocked if he got some practice squad interest. To the 53. So right now, since the trade of Chris Herndon hasn't officially processed, the Vikings technically have 24 players on offense, 27 on defense, and 2 on special teams, totaling up to 53 technically. But they will have to make a move. Well, actually, they probably won't have to make a move since Nwangu and Irv Smith are going to be going on short term on IR tomorrow. So that's no big deal. But keeping 2 quarterbacks on the 53, Kirk Cousins and Kellen Mond won the job. Jake Browning is still going to be in the building as the emergency backup quarterback on the practice squad. Running backs wise, got Dalvin, Madison, and Nwangu. I wouldn't be shocked if they re-elevated Abdullah to the 53 after Nwangu goes on injured reserve. CJ Ham, the fullback, the best fullback in the league, damn straight. I said what I said. Carrying 6 wide receivers, Jefferson, Dillon, DD. What's up, baby? I can't wait to see DD just rocking out there. Also, KJ Osborne, Amir Smith-Marset had themselves some nice preseason. I think ISM has the inside track on both return gigs to start the season, as well as Dan Chisena making the roster again, where he needs a lot of polish. I think the ship has sailed on him being a wide receiver, but as a special teamer, as a gunner, even though he had 6 missed tackles last year, I mean, he has a lot of physical tools, and that's what the coaches, that's what Ryan Ficken is banking on. So tight ends wise, so we got Gronklin as tight end 1. That hamstring seems to be good to go. Still has a week and a half to let that fully get right. And then you got Chris Herndon, big time potential coming over from the Jets. Never really tapped into it aside from his rookie year, but of course it's the goddamn Jets. Brandon Dillon, the Marion Barbarian, hangs on to that 3rd tight end spot. Offensive line hanging on to 9. Left to right, your starting offensive line likely week 1 is going to be Rashad Hill, Ezra Bradbury, Oli Udo, that's right, and Brian O'Neill. Christian Darrisaw, TBD, what's going to go on with the groin. I guess it wouldn't shock me if they put him on short term on IR to save a roster spot if he's going to be out 3+ weeks. And they got Mason Cole, the swing interior backup, the new Brad Jones, Wyatt Davis, future starter Wyatt Davis, as well as Blake Brandel just hanging around. So this is Zimmer's web dream. Hang on to 27 players on defense. Like, this is perfect for him. So they hang on to 10 defensive linemen. Your edge rushers are Daniil Wanham, Jalen Holmes, hanging on. Wow. Steve Weatherly still makes the roster. Patrick Jones is second, as well, the 3rd-round pick coming out of Pitt. And then defensive interiors, you got Pierce Tomlinson, Armand for Watts, the backup nose tackle, Sheldon Richardson. Hopefully he'll be more interested now that it's a regular season, as well as James Lynch. That's right, baby. Red Rifle. Let's go. And then also you have, actually, no, he's not really the rifle because he's not a quarterback. Red Rocket, Red Rover. Come on over. I don't know. Linebacker. So hopefully Anthony Barr, 50-50 with Cristobal with his knee injury reportedly, is going to be ready to go week 1. But then you got Kendricks and Vigil. And then you got the young athletic dudes. You got Chaz, 3rd-round pick from UNC, the former quarterback. Blake Lynch, the UDFA, who started in place of Anthony Barr, and was looking pretty good. Troy Dye made some splash plays in the preseason as well. Ryan Connolly, the pride of Eden Prairie and Stupid Badger, makes the initial roster. And we should point out, we should have said this at the beginning, but this is not the permanent 53. Like, there's still a lot of time to shift this roster, and you have to be on the roster the week of week 1 to get your salary fully guaranteed, cement your spot. So, yeah, there's some false summits on this. There's a couple of guys which, unfortunately, it's going to appear like they made the 53 and then cash in that paycheck, and then not so much. Keeping 6 cornerbacks, you got Breland Peterson, Chris Boyd, Harrison Hand, and Cameron Tiny Dancer on the outside. You got Mac Alexander working the slot. Chris Boyd also has a little bit of slot experience. Safety-wise, keeping 4. Harrison Smith, Xavier Woods are 2 starters. Cameron Bynum, who was really hot and cold in preseason. I don't know. Like, potential-wise, maybe he can work things out, but We saw some high highs and low lows from Cameron Bynum. Of course, he's learning a new position. He was a cornerback at Cal. And then you have Josh Metellus, the 6th-round pick last year out of Michigan. Big-time special teams contributor. He's been dinged up as well. Hopefully that means that he's good to go. And then specialists, like we said, we got a kicker, we have a punter, we don't have a long snapper on the 53, but that's really immaterial given the practice squad rules that are carried over to this season. So that's your initial 53-man roster, as well as cuts for the Vikings this season. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Pull those some in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.